Good morning. This is Navy Old Thought Gamer. I'm back on Mimas. I've worked on my stirling engine. It should turn on any second automatically. At 50% it should turn on. So I wanted to get this started real quick. Remember to like and subscribe. And once this fires up, automatically, I hope, at 50%. I got that reading from back here at the logic reader. I'm reading the battery average ratio, and for some reason this battery charges a lot slower than the one inside. I don't know why. Kind of weird. But the one inside is obviously much charger than the one out there. And shortly, these switches should automatically throw. There we go. And my stirling engine is up and running automatically. Now, while this stabilizes, because it's going to take a few minutes, it usually once it stabilizes, gets to about 2.62 kilowatts and then levels out. Let me explain some things that I've done here. A lot of work. On this side, this chip, all it does is read this analyzer. And if the temperature is above 2 Celsius, it sets this to 100. And if it's below 2 Celsius, it sets it to 0, so it drains out all the... And some people like to see my programs, so that keeps the pipes from freezing. Input, don't screw up my programming. Edit, and they're all really simple. So basically, like I said, it reads the analyzer, the back pressure regulator. If the temperature of the analyzer is less than 276, it sets it to 100. If it's not less than 2006, it goes to... if it's less than 2006, it sets it to 0, and vice versa, it sets it to 100. But you get the idea. So that's that. Very simple, very effective, keeps my pipes from freezing, regulates everything perfectly on the back end of this. Now, let me take that with me. I don't like the way that looks in my hand. The changes I made in the inside, I noticed, well, you can notice I added a second set of cooling in here of the room temperature, which is going to spike up a little bit at the beginning here and then come back down. And I can explain that to you when it's running here. You know, this is still better than it was. It was 167, so I got more efficiency out of it with the way it's running now. The main reason for that is I found out through testing this, any back pressure on the exhaust affects how it runs. So I put a turbo pump on it and a gauge just in case, because I didn't want this to over pressurize. And this is pulling the air into my back end system there faster than it's coming in. I put that gauge on there just to make sure that didn't over pressurize. And this should slowly be probably coming up shortly. The other change I made, of course, ice crushers. I crushed and mined a ton of volatiles, a ton of, it was up to 11. On all the testing, it's down a little bit. 11 kilo, you know what I mean, 11 kilomoles each. So this is going down faster because I'm using twice as much of that, but I mined a bunch, crushed it. This filter's here to get the nitrogen out of the oxygen before I put it in the tank, so it's straight oxygen and doesn't screw up my ratio. This circuit right here reads in the same manner as over there, basically reads this. When it gets 2 megapascals, it turns the pump on and off. They keep everything pressurized at 2 megapascals. This is my gas mixer set for 6634. You could set it a little better, but that's reasonable enough. Well, that still hasn't come up in proficiency. It won't until this pressurizes to around 100. It's getting close. You can see probably now that temperature is starting to go down. because more efficient cooling at higher higher pressures. So that's starting to come down, which in turn is going to cool the room down, which makes the Stirling engine more efficient. So that should start coming up. Everything over here, I got that this goes on forever. Oh, there's a hole here I keep forgetting about. As you can see, I could make that more efficient by putting one or two of these on, you know, the liquid version of it, but this kind of amuses me, so I'm going to let it there, as you can see. But I got this cooled. This is the output of the H2 filter, which I have to move to the outside because I need access to, and I have not done that yet. You can see the warm water comes in here, cools slightly. It's usually around 160 C's, somewhere in that range. Steam, I should say, because at that temperature it's steam mostly. But there is a little water in there. And the same thing, this is just a little bit more of a cushion for that, and that's how I'm cooling that hot water part down. The steam, I should say, this is cooling the steam down. And when it cools it down and changes it to water, this condensation valve pulls it out into my water cooling area. I don't need that. Now, when this is below, and it is starting to go up. No, it's actually going down. That's a little odd. I'll have to keep an eye on that. It should be going up in temperature. There it goes. Well, it just jumped down, so this isn't usually that cold. And what it does is it puts the warm water into this tank, unless, because of this circuit reader, unless this is below 298 kilopascals, then this pump turns on and pulls it in here. Now, this is the water that I've gotten so far from running this and testing. I've gotten 70 plus, almost 71 liters of water out of this system. So water is not going to be a problem anymore. I'm not sure exactly. It is starting to go up a little bit. So I may have to remove a few of those, but it works when it, in the long run, when it just stabilizes it, it works. But let's see. I'm up to 259, like I said. This is probably it. See, it's still coming down once it all stabilizes. Now this will automatically shut off when it gets to 75%. So it turns itself on and off automatically. Nothing's blowing up. I got the safety devices in here where this will get down to about 11.2 and then stop. Although it seems to be running a little cooler in this run for some reason. It could go down to 0. If it goes down to 0, it's going to start venting more, and then it'll climb back up. But again, through this, I had this on here just to test some things, so that's not even on anymore. But when this air gets down to where it stabilizes, and it's still coming down, this should be there, 261. So we're almost up to what I call operating efficiency now, because 262 to 264 is about the highest I've seen it. So there you go. This is completely stable now. And the temperature is still going up. Eventually, yeah, it's jumping up now. Eventually, this will get high enough to where this will shut off. And, I mean, it's not really putting in much here now anyway. But this is a little warm to begin with, so it doesn't hurt that if it pulls it off a little bit by pumping in some, and it's almost there now. So it's getting above freezing now, just about 7, 6. So it bounces around. That's because there's more steam in here now, so this is going to start warming up a little bit. Like I said, it starts out and then it gets to where I have it balanced, and then everything falls into place. Now this was running a little cooler than it did last time, but it's coming down slowly. Probably stabilized now. I may have to watch that. Could take one of these off. I don't know. Oh, I don't know if the sun makes that much of a difference here, but I wonder if day and night make that much of a difference. I'm not going to mess with it. We're going to let it go and see what happens. 2.62. That's where it usually stables out and runs. So now this will go to 60 or 75, and we'll automatically just shut down. This will, once it gets to 0, vent everything out so it doesn't freeze. Do that. It'll change that setting to 0. Vent it all out. This never freezes because I'm pulling in the water before it gets to that point. Where are we at here? Yeah, see now it's above 6, so it's a little cold. But as long as it's below 298, I am pumping the water out into this tank. And there's not going to be much in there because it's mostly in the form of steam in this tank. Because that's at 122, which this cools the steam, this cools the water. This holds excessively hot water if there is any. There isn't right now, but if it gets above temperature, it just puts the water in here. And then as it cools, this will turn back on and pull the water out of it. Now, this is running. It's working. It's charging my batteries. As you see, I'm up to 71, almost 72. I don't have to pay any attention to this anymore. It's all automated. Excellent. So now I can do other things, because this was a lot of work. Only thing I have to make sure that happens is I have fuel. And that 8 kilomoles is going to last me quite a while. Now, next steps on this run. Expand the greenhouse. I can finally go inside and work. As you can see, whoa, I jumped. I'm stinky pants because I've been outside for so stupidly long. I'm going to set up a whole row of soybeans, and then I'm going to have it make biofuel, and then I can also power by running solid fuel into a solid fuel. Where'd that come from? Solid fuel. My trash pile. Well, not my trash pile. Excess pile. Into my solid fuel generator. This will become less important. Although it is important right now. It should shut off. Do I have it set for 80? I may have moved it to 80. It might not shut off until 80. Can't remember what I did. I think I changed it to 80. Won't hurt to pop that out. Import it so I don't screw it up. Put it back in. Yeah, it's got to go to 80. So that'll be a couple more minutes. Now, biofuel. Soybeans are like terribly inefficient because they grow so dang slow. So guess what that means. I'm going to have to set up trading so I can get some sawgrass, which is the best to use for biofuel. So next, make one more row of soybeans, or, by the way, I got enough soybeans and enough mushrooms to keep myself fed. So that's not an issue either. Maybe I'll just set up the trading next and try and find sawgrass. Because I'll be wasting my time with soybeans. They grow so stupidly slow. So that may be the way I go. Ignore the greenhouse because I got enough food. Set up a trading post. I got a nice flat area here. Maybe even an enclosed one. A lot of iron. Is that gold over there? I think it is. I'll have to go over there. And then set up sawgrass And then, so I don't have to keep worrying about this going up to space with a rocket, I have an automated rocket program that I'll load up and automatically go get these to be automatically refilled. Now, 263, so it's running pretty good. How is it? Yeah, so it's stabilized. It got 4 Celsius lower for some reason. I don't know why. But that's okay. It worked. I keep forgetting to turn that off. So almost up to 80. How much steam do I got in here? 193. That's about, I think 6 liters of water. I could be wrong on that. Might be 25-ish. That's what I'm remembering. So pretty quick here. The whole loop will run. And I'll show you how everything else works. Nine. There we go. So now it's shut down. So now what happens? This suddenly starts to drop like a brick, as you can see. Now once that gets to that area, this will reset to 0. 0. Reset to 0. There it goes. Okay. So now that I should set that a little different. Maybe I went a little off on that. But now this starts to drain out. So to keep stuff from freezing in there. Now I've never had any stress on any of the pipes. And I've never seen anything freeze at this point. But I never get any stress in those pipes. So that resolves itself without any issues. This will start putting out water like crazy because this, you see how this starts cooling down. You see the liquid amount in there, which automatically gets pulled out and thrown in here. And since it's below 20, it's going in here. And I'm up to 75, 75.1. This is all, makes me very happy. It's all automated. I never have to touch this ever again. I hope it'll govern itself. $75.5. I don't remember what it was when I started. I think it was around 70. So I'm going to get like 6 liters in there or something like that. Now this will, again, it's a little colder than I want. I may have to warm this up a little bit or take a few of these out. But as it is right now, I'm at 29. And, you know, that's because when I first started running this was a little warm. But with all the adjustments I made, works better now. So there you go. It's almost completely cleared out anything that was in here. I got 49 moles of steam and dropping. So it clears it out pretty fast once it shuts down. And I never get any stress in the pipes. Everything takes care of itself. So there you go. This is running. I told you about my future plans here. Subscribe and like if you'd like to see where I'm going from this. And it got dark in there now. But I think I'm going to have to go with trading next, which is a ton of mining. If you want to, I mean, if I'm going to make it enclosed, that's a ton of mining. It's going to be 2 days of solid mining. I ought to record it just to make you see. I won't do that to you. You know what I mean, though. I hate mining. But, there you go. Coming back down. No stress in these pipes. No stress. I still got 32 psi. That's slowly coming down, but it doesn't cause me any issues. There you go. Let me know what you think. Completely automated Stirling engine from start to finish in a vacuum. I've done this plenty of times on worlds with air. Doing it in a vacuum is a completely different nightmare because you have to use this kind of cooling, and then you get runaway cooling when things aren't running, as you can see. But we're good. That's it. Navy Old Salt Gamer. Subscribe and like. I'll see you in the next episode after I bore myself to tears with mining. Have a good day.